is.
This is a nowheres matchup for sure. Like, I can already imagine that Jigglypuff has to do the absolute most to navigate even the slightest bit of this matchup, well, with all the projectiles, you know, with all the ways that Snake can control space on the stage. Jigglypuff's definitely going to have to put in some work. I will say the offstage, I'm not entirely too sure how Jigglypuff's aerials will interact with Cypher. I'd imagine that backer will break the armor naturally. Same with Pound.
Yeah, especially just the damage that those hitboxes do definitely should be able to break that Cypher. So as much as Snake's going to dominate that on-stage game, I imagine that once Jigglypuff can get him pushed off stage, it could be difficult to come back.
And you already saw a little taste of it right there, as well as UKIT trying to find a hit to follow up off of, but Grease being able to get the grenade out in time. You see, sometimes it just doesn't matter when you have such a polarizing factor like that rest combo.
And you don't necessarily see Snake's big hurtbox come into play too often, just the nature of his zoning. But man, like having such a big hurtbox to falling up air like that, I imagine we're going to see quite a few of those rest setups throughout this set.
Characters with the X factor in such a way that Puff has that rest is something that players like UKIT, who have been faithful to the character for so long, have definitely mastered such a dynamic, especially against characters who have been at the upper echelon of the game for as long as Snake has.
And that's the tough part too. When you play a character as common as Snake, people are going to know that matchup, especially with how dominant he was early on. But Puff has never really been super common outside of base mage. Did get those buffs, but that's where like UKIT is probably the second best Jigglypuff in the US at this point, results-wise. So it's really difficult to get that level of practice and be ready for this kind of matchup.
Right, and who's to say that that's either because of either results or just a lack of other Puffs doing it, like the way that Base and UKIT are.
And UKIT, student of the game for sure, is a player that is not afraid to ask for advice after a set, even like on this stage at a big regional. So he's very willing to learn, and that's how he's gotten better and better over time. And you see him as a regular mainstay in these regional top 8s.
Those who are in it for the love of the game will get the most done. Oh my God! I cannot believe the C4 actually fell off. We saw the sticky through the shield, but the back throw not being able to maintain the true combo with the C4 into finding the kill right there. But the grenade not finding the up air quite either, as Jigglypuff in a very dangerous percent, one good up tilt just like that. And even then we saw earlier when it comes down to, you know, if Puff manages to live for a little bit longer than what that up tilt will be able to kill at, we see, you know, 161 is the magic number with Snake. When you get that down throw, we saw the down throw forward tilt that confirmed that is true at a lot earlier percents.
And we do see that Nair does break up the Cypher and take Snake out into his last stock. So, and what's been crazy is just seeing how long UKIT has lived on each of these stocks.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that up air, that up tilt and kill about 130%. So you'd think that Puff would be exploding around that 100% mark in this matchup, but UKIT just doing a really good job staying in space and not putting himself in a position to eat those early stocks, so that way he can try to set up for those edge guards.
It's the perseverance that, you know, when you're playing a character like Puff, who is prone to dying early, or, you know, I think of a character like Lucario, who is basically plays around being at that high percent. You know, like, you have to know how to live. You have to know how to play around any character that's really just going for their kill moves, like this up tilt, running up and just parrying it, and not quite finding the punish, but still showing absolutely no fear in the face of such a deadly kill move.
And something to consider in this matchup, too, is Puff, because Puff wants to be in the air so much, Snake's zoning isn't as potent as you think it would be, because those grenades are more so like a lateral zoning tool on the ground. Oh, there we go. We got the sing into the rest on the ledge there. It just felt like, even though Grease was in the lead for the majority of that game, just kind of snatched it out from under him, which is that rest setup again at the end.
It's that X factor we're talking about, the sing at the ledge. You have to be respectful. It will catch you out, and, you know, even though Snake's a little bit heavy, we saw that stock go away as early as like 60-something%.
And again, like, getting back to the zoning, because of the nature of the many jumps, and you're not really going to be getting edge guards consistently either as Snake that you're so accustomed to with side B with the Nikita. So on stage, it's like Snake is kind of going to have to play a matchup in a playstyle he's not super accustomed to. So if anything, this is probably more comfortable for UKIT.
And even then it goes back to the matchup experience kind of thing, because like we said, how many Puffs have you been able to practice against as compared to how many Snakes UKIT has had to prepare this matchup for? That footstool is a little tricky. I was honestly trying to pay attention to the C4 right there, but Puff is just such a slow faller. It wasn't even a factor there.
And speaking of keeping track of C4, UKIT did a fantastic job of it in that game 1. Did not get hit by a single C4, not even one that was tapped onto him off of, like,
surprisingly enough, right?
So and that's what makes it so hard for Grease. If he can't get those just safe kills with the C4, how are you finding stocks?
You see UKIT is just so ever conscious of exactly how far away from these explosives he can be. He's moving so immaculately around these grenades. Someone just crouching under one that was in the air, not even worried about whether or not it was going to hit him. Ooh, Grease trying to come back up with the hits, but finding the tech off and making it back to the stage safely. Now Puff. UKIT has to go through the minefield to get out of the corner. It's such a scary spot, especially when he starts jumping in with a neutral air all willy-nilly like that. Oh my goodness.
And Grease kind of has to play like this too. The zoning hasn't worked, so he's trying to bait UKIT into those aggressive dash attacks to get that kill off. Otherwise, this defensive playstyle just has really left UKIT undeterred. So getting the lead there, and now just trying to put on a little bit more percent here. Does tag on the C4, but perfect air dodge coming out from UKIT.
And you kind of have to predict it when you get that C4 stuck on you. I mean, you can kind of react if you're ready. Like, if you're already in the air, then yeah, maybe you can air dodge on reaction. But, man, you really have to be ready for it. Back to even stock, mostly even percent scenarios, then Nikita is going to come back around to cover Grease as UKIT tries to find his way back through. The combo coming through with the grenade follow-up. Catching the air dodge forward air into rest. That is definitely true. And against somebody who's heavy like Snake, you have a wide range where you can look for that, my friend.
And Snake is so accustomed to being able to comfortably recover high. You get those really high ciphers off the top, but UKIT can chase him up there with those up airs, with those fares to get those confirmed. So Snake's disadvantage that's usually considered pretty poor gets even worse in this matchup.
Oh yeah, you have to be so conscious of the characters who can press you in a relatively safe disadvantage the way that Snake has. But Jigglypuff with all those jumps, they may not get very high very quickly, but you can still get up there nonetheless, and that's reason enough to be given respect to something like that.
Going for the jab, trying to get the follow-up, not quite getting it at that higher percent. Is it jab, raw bear is what he seems to be hunting for right now, but just continue to tack on this percent. A rest will absolutely take it on Snake at this percent, so have to be very careful here against the jab. And it's another rest confirmed.
Not even the rest, just the forward smash.
Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it.
You just got to let it rip sometimes. I'm so impressed at the way that UKIT is so unafraid to box with Snake, of all characters, by the way, on some, a character who can delete most people at 80-90% with the good grenade combo or a well sought out up tilt, and you're playing Jigglypuff, let alone that's going to kill you 20% earlier. Just the confidence that it takes to approach the matchup in such a way is just, I love it. I love what I'm seeing.
And it's also, it felt like UKIT was kind of luring, or Grease was kind of being lured with a false sense of security there, because a lot of his corner pressure was going really well throughout that game. He was getting a lot of boxing options out. He was starting to zone with those grenades up close, and then Nikita, but then just at the very end got baited to pursuit of the ledge there and paid for it with a stock. So going to be going to a bigger venue here for this game 3, but Are You Dead? Are we going to find it? Great tech up.
Yeah, the tech jump right there. You got to be careful. Ooh, the timing. Very seldom does Grease not make those. He will look for those forward smashes like it's his job, and he knows how to hit them. But UKIT being able to make it back to the stage, looking for the sing once again. Maybe seeing the couple times that that it was able to get UKIT a kill prior makes it worth going for again. But it looks like Grease already is looking out for it in this game 3 right here on PS2. Grease switching up the counter pick just a little bit, maybe a bit larger of a stage, trying to create a little bit more space in this matchup where we've seen a little bit of defensive play. We've seen a little bit more, forward-thinking aggression while still playing at that mid-range with those larger hitboxes in the tilts, with those grenades, because you can still kind of mix up with your movement in like a scramble situation when you have those grenades out, considering that they're frame 1 and considering that you have an option such as that up tilt that you can let rip whenever your heart desires.
He's been definitely looking for those parry kill confirms. We saw an up tilt earlier in the set. We are seeing UKIT try to play around that with those down airs crossing up the shield just because you get the multi-hit. But, just a little overzealous in the corner there with that forward smash. And now Grease gets to run for the hills here and just tack on this percent, just try to get this residual damage with the grenades. But still approaching to the corner there, and this might be your stock. It absolutely will be. Just that overextension coming out to bite Grease as hard as it possibly could there.
That's exactly what we're talking about too. Just baiting out that defensive option so well as UKIT, being able to find the air dodge. And then at 160% or so, wherever Snake was, you're definitely going to be able to find a kill off the side with the back air, even with the neutral air. But this is a position that Grease really likes to play around right here. If you can get your opponent in the corner, granted, most characters can't duck under the C4 in the way that Jigglypuff can, so that's something that you definitely have to consider for the sake of the matchup. But oh my goodness.
Footstool coming to save him yet again. You don't think about Snake needing to use Footstool to get out a disadvantage, but time and time again, it's being a get-out-of-jail-free card for Grease in this matchup. But another edge guard situation. It seems like that semi-high is working out, just like that's good in-between, not too hot, not too cold to get those recoveries. But when you get stuck under PS2, just barely makes it back.
Love that empty hop right there, too. It's one of the first times I've seen Grease try and recover low so far in the set right there, and it ended up working out, even though getting hit off the Cypher with, I believe it was a down air. But still fighting, still in the second stocks. Both of these players, the weak pound just barely not doing it. 170%. One good sneeze from Jigglypuff.
One good sing could also do it.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen those time and time again to finish off the game. But still got 2 stocks to work with here. Both these characters at kill percent right now, and finally finds a C4. In 2.5 games in. First time that UKIT's finally gotten hit by one of those.
Wow, Grease is living up to the stratosphere with these percents right here, approaching 200% almost. Maybe one good aerial from Puff, it might be all it takes to find the kill. But the percent on this last stock is racking up, and that Nikita is going to take it. 90-something%, 94 or so. Yeah, I mean, your Jigglypuff, we've been seeing that move a little bit from Grease. It's just kind of a way to cover himself to, like you said before, the false sense of security that UKIT might find, saying, okay, Snake's stuck in piloting Nikita completely wide open. I don't know if there's a grenade there or not. Either way, you can steer that Nikita to cover yourself, but that's the first time that we saw it, I think, so far as a edge guarding or like a, trying to circumvent the recovery efforts.
And we're seeing the benefit of a best-of-5 situation, right? Where I'm sure, as we talked about throughout the set, Greasy probably does not have the matchup experience that UKIT has here. And you're finally starting to see those early stocks come home for Grease. We saw, we saw the Nikita there at the end, and we saw the C4 to take that second stock. Up until that point, UKIT had been living so long as Jigglypuff in every single stock, so it was hard for Grease to get any sort of meaningful traction. But we may finally see that adaptation starting to get into play, starting to figure things out. But as I say that, UKIT's got off to a fantastic start here in this game 4.
Oh my god, as you say that, just immediately about to take the stock within 30 seconds of this game. There we go, the footstool once more, finding a little bit of purchase for Grease. He's trying to navigate this disadvantage, but at some point you can go as high up as you want, but eventually you're going to have to come back down, and UKIT's right there waiting for you.
Just seeing the weak up aerial off the top of that percent is hysterical.
Such a hilarious move, because he's really just waving hi. It's like the reading rainbow.
Back like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl where SpongeBob has the imagination.
Oh my god, that move is so crazy, by the way.
Funny.
All right, so a couple dash attacks, trying to find a little bit of momentum to bring back for Grease. But right here, the grenade combos, UKIT kind of taking over Snake's own kit, being able to find the grenade combos with the down airs, and even more so coming out onto the platform, just trying to extend this lead as much as possible. Granted, one good kill can still kill Jigglypuff at sub 70%, but now that we're there, one good up tilt, one good maybe down throw read. Here we go. I was just thinking about it right there, too.
Finally gets an act. We've seen so few grabs going out from Grease connecting in this set, and isn't able to find his way home. He really needed that there. He's in such a big hole right now, but gets the landing back air instead of the footstool that time. But, man, just like, he's not taking the big hits until he finally loses that stock there with the back air. It's just, this is looking tough now. You have to go out there and try to challenge Puff off stage. How are you getting this stock now?
A little bit of a fiesta going on right here off the right side of the stage.
What chances have you been to have explosives? only the 4th of July. This is 4th of July.
It is true. It's about that time of year. I'll tell you what. No, but Grease really going to have to dig deep to see if we can't you know, at least get things going in our direction before UKIT starts to run away with what is currently a 3-stock lead, looking for the up tilt, catching the roll in. Almost could have been a rest if Snake's roll, or Snake's tech roll actually wasn't a genuinely good, you know, roll. It goes so far, actually. But being able to find the grab nonetheless and keeping the advantage going up towards 100%. Grease is just kind of looking for it. You see a little smile on his face right now. He's really, he's trying to pull out the tricks to see if we can't find this last kill. Back air on the neutral tag out of the jabs. Such a potent mix-up option at these higher percents. The Phantom Footstools. Okay, Gimmer, I see you. The double.
That's really been his saving grace off this set and disadvantage. He's so intentional with those footstools over and over, but again, if you're not, you can survive, but if you're not making any ground, at a certain point, you're going to eat one of these back airs. You're going to be put in an edge guard situation. And you can really just take his time as he tries to find the last hit he needs to seal out this set.
So the wanton last hit of the neutral air, being able to find what is only the first stock of UKIT in this game 4. This is Grease's winner's side life, and it looks like it's entirely possible that this disadvantaged state could, or even the next one, lead to the loser's run kicking off here for Grease. But he's not quite out of it yet. Starting to move a little bit of confidence right here. These forward tilts, maybe looking to do the deed here for UKIT. Up airs, really just trying to get it done. The neutral air on the parry.